Guys, I'm gonna let you speak if I can't get her back up here. But the whole point of this was for Crystal to be able to speak. There she is. So, Crystal, you've just got to tap your mic there and turn it on.
Oh, okay.
There you are. This was fun, wasn't it?
Oh my gosh. I'm like, oh man, I don't know what I'm doing. I have to figure it out.
Yeah, neither do I, so it's okay. So, first of all, I want to thank you for coming. I think we all appreciate the fact that you will take time out of your day to speak with us about everything that's going on. And I want to start by letting you know a couple of things that happened. I'm going to be dropping some documents in your direct message, but on March 7th of 2022, there was a hotel brawl at a hotel here in Manchester. It was well known as the Quality Inn that had a major shootout with the police. But on March 7th of this year, there was another shootout. And someone that is well known to you in this case was involved in that. And
wait 1 second, Regina. Are we supposed to see each other, or is this just voice?
Nope, it's just voice.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. This is my first time doing this, so I was like seeing all these icons, and I'm like, okay, what am I supposed to be doing here? Like, sorry.
Wait, you just talked to me like we're just gonna have a regular conversation.
Oh, okay. Okay.
As I was saying, March 7th, 2022, there was another shootout here in Manchester at that same hotel. And someone that is very well known to this case was involved in that shooting, and that would be Tabitha Scott.
Oh my God. Duh.
I know, right?
I freaking knew it. I knew it. You know what? I had a feeling about this chick from jump. And people were like, no, she wasn't involved, And I said, listen, they were a throuple. Three-way couple. You know what I mean? Like, I knew she was involved with them in some way. Whatever. Okay, anyways, go ahead.
So I'm gonna go ahead and drop the documents for you. But what happened was she missed her her dispositional hearing on June 24th, so she was rearrested. So she was rearrested, and she was in court yesterday. And today I went to the courthouse and grabbed all the documents for you, and I will be dropping those in your direct messenger, so you can just have some, free entertainment there. At any rate,
is she involved?
Is she involved in Harmony? We don't know. We really don't.
I think she is. I've thought she was from the beginning.
Yeah.
Because why would Adam and Kayla not have no pictures of her, but Tabby had pictures sitting next to her with a whole lump on her head?
Yeah. It wasn't.
I went in and had my friends that were in graphics communications, and they were checking to see if it was a fake bump or what it was. That was she got blasted right before that picture.
Yeah,
she was hit, and Tabby saw all the abuse.
Yeah,
I actually have a text message from one of Tabby's friends, but the number was blocked out and the person was blocked out. But somebody had sent it to me, and it was a conversation between Tabby and this friend. And Tabby said, and I quote, "I was the last person to see Harmony alive."
Oh my God!
And those were the words she used.
Yeah. So I'm just going through this because it seems like the AG is putting pressure on all the parties involved. And he's looking at 20 years with this charge. So this isn't something that he'd just be able to walk away from. And I thought for sure they had trouble coming up with the $200 to bail her out. So
good.
They have a lot of money. I don't think she has a lot of options with places to run.
Oh, so she's going to be begging for a deal. And if she has any type of information, she's going to spill.
She might, and that would be the whole...
She has no choice, Regina, at that point. You know what I mean? If she knows anything about Harmony and she's looking at that time, she's going to say, hey, I got information you want. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. Well, with that kind of time,
We're hoping.
yeah. Well, with the people she's involved with, so like Joe Haywood, who is her fiance, boyfriend, whoever he is. So I did some digging on him, and his email is Disciple Nation. So,
no.
Yeah, so she's not safe no matter where she goes.
Yeah, but you know what else? That you say that? Adam always told me that he was bless you, Papa. He was a disciple / outlaw. He always told me that, you know what I mean? Which I never believed, because I'm like, how the hell is this dude from New Hampshire? Mind you, he always claimed that he was from Revere when he was with me, because he always wanted to look gangster, you know?
Right.
And he was actually from New Hampshire. Anyways. So, but he always said he was part of like GD and Outlaw, and I'm like, there's no fucking way, dude. There's no way. But
now it's becoming a clearer picture of
why he was involved with Tabby and this man.
Right. Well, also who surrounded.
Oh no. Sorry. No. Oh gosh. He loves to go and hold Harmony's. He loves to hold Harmony's little memorabilia things, and so he usually doesn't really go head first attack all her stuff, but sometimes he does, you know.
Well, it's colorful and bright, and
yes. He don't want to break it or anything. He just holds it, and he kind of does his little talk to Sissy and stuff. I think there's a spiritual connection, but that's a whole other thing.
Right. Exactly. So I actually, so I'm going to drop all those documents for you. And anyways, it's a clearer picture as to who were the characters that surrounded Harmony during the time that she was up here in New York. So I want to go over a little bit of the timeline with you. So how old were you when Harmony was born?
I was 24.
You were 20 years old.
Yep.
Was Adam incarcerated, sentenced, or was he just in jail?
When I conceived, obviously he was out. He had put himself in a program. When I was about, I would say, 4 months pregnant, he left the program, came up dirty, left the program. He was on the run. He was hiding out a couple months. I think I was about 6.5 months pregnant when he shot Robbie Jacobs in the face.
Okay.
Which was in January, and Harmony was born. Yeah, I was early in my pregnancy when he had done it. So he was sentenced in.
Was he in prison when Harmony was born, or was he?
Yes. So his grandmother, Nan, which I've always called her, but that's Helen Montgomery, which is the woman that raised him, and then his father, Michael Montgomery Sr., was there when she was born, and then he was on the phone with them, so he was definitely in jail. He didn't, and then I went in, I had lost her when she was 2 months old. I found out she was blind.
We're going to go into that. We're going to go into that a little bit. But the first thing I want to discuss is what kind of support system did you have? You're 24 years old. You were pretty much homeless at that time, correct?
Yeah, I had nothing. My mother was in a nursing home. She was dying of cirrhosis of the liver.
Right. So you're 24 years old. You just had this baby, and the doctors have told you your baby's sick, and you're a single mom now because the father is incarcerated and homeless. Single mom, homeless. What kind of support system did you have? What was offered to you?
I mean, I did things on my own, Helen Montgomery, she wrote me a letter saying I let her sleep on my couch for 2 weeks, but I can't do it. And when I was 5 months pregnant, I went into DHCD, which is DTA, and I did what I could to get in the shelter.
So you did in shelter. What kind of services did they offer you? I'm starting to see it as I read the different documents visitation, that in the beginning there wasn't a whole lot of support for you at all.
Oh no, not at all. And because of the fact that Adam and I had substance abuse issues, Helen and the Montgomerys, they weren't welcoming right off rip.
Right.
I kind of had to earn that space where they knew, I was a good person.
Right.
I was trying to get clean. I was messed up, and Nan had figured that out before anybody. But yeah, I had no support. My sister was doing her own thing. My mom was sick in the nursing home. Like, none of my family members talked to me because, I was junkie. So,
yeah, and so that's the thing about recovery that a lot of people don't realize. Recovery is not linear. Relapse is part of it. It's a road you travel that is not the same for everybody or anyone.
Oh yeah, both my parents were vicious junkies. I grew up my whole life, 7 kids. My parents beating on each other. We're waking up every day, and the oldest child, which is 15, my brother TJ, he took on the responsibility of 6 kids. Every single time my parents went to jail, which was twice a week.
Wow.
DCF was involved since I was, born, because I was born under, had alcoholic fetal syndrome. We had twin-to-twin transfusion. Me and my sister, I was born 1 pound 3 ounces. She was 3'4". We was in the hospital for 6 months. When we got out, we were in a domestic violence shelter. My father was in prison for beating my mom half to death.
So you grew up pretty much knowing what the system was about anyways yourself, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I aged out from 15 to 18.
Okay. So Harmony's 2 months old, it's August, and they take Harmony from you.
Yeah.
And what kind of struggles were you having then, and what kind of support system did you have in August when that happened? Was around that?
I had people I knew in Haverhill at that time. I had gotten thrown out of the shelter when she was taken. I had, 24 hours, 48 hours to leave after she was taken. I was offered no supports, nothing. They expected me to be at these visits and figure out how to stay clean on my own. And I had no idea. I had been using since 16, weed, liquor, coke, you name it. I didn't know my ass from my elbow. I'm like, what? Oh, I'm supposed to get clean on my own. My mom's in the hospital dying from drugs. Oh, okay. Thank you.
So from August 2014 to January 2015, you managed to pull it together.
Oh yeah. I called every single program I could find, and I finally had an opening at a domestic violence / recovery program, and I went and I got in, and I got her back. She was 6 months at this time. It had been quite a few months. I'd missed a few things, but I worked my butt off to get her back. I always did.
And what was your contact with Adam between August 2014 and January 2015? Was he still in jail?
Yep, he was still incarcerated. He was calling me on the phone. When I didn't have the money, to put on the phone all the time.
Right.
And when I did have money, it would go to Adam. It would go to his books. So it would go on his phone because he wanted to talk to his family. And yeah, he was just very verbally abusive and mentally. And he would call me and he would flip out if I couldn't do this and that. And he basically wanted me to sell myself to get him this money. So I went into this program because I just couldn't live like that anymore. And the only time I contacted him from there was when I wrote him a letter and told him I'm done. And somebody had told the lady that was the head of the program that I had written somebody a letter, and that's termination at a DV residential. So I was terminated.
Okay.
Yep.
So you were in a domestic violence residential program, and you wrote your abuser.
Yep. I wrote my abuser and I told them, listen, I'm done. And it didn't matter that I told them I was done.
No.
I had broken that rule, and they had terminated me, but they was giving me a chance to find, a place or shelter. But I had gotten kicked out when she was 2 months old, and you have to wait 18 months to get back into shelter when you get kicked out. So I couldn't go back into family shelter or DHCD until 18 months, and it had only been, 7?
Right.
So I was kind of screwed in that aspect. So I'm trying to get into another program. Some girls get caught with some drugs and some cell phones and, some stuff. And I don't know, for some reason, they told the director that I had bought alcohol, which in no way, shape, or form could I have done that. They never went to the liquor store and said, hey, have you ever seen this woman? Has she ever come in here? They never, ever investigated. They came in the next day and they removed my daughter. She was 11 months old at this time.
This is April 2015.
Yep.
Absolutely.
They did not have any type of proof. Can you hold on 1 second?
Sure. Yeah, no problem. Everything okay with everybody else out there so far? Heart. Smiley face. Anything? Thank you. I've only done one other Spaces. I actually co-hosted a couple times with Miss Red, but this is like the first one I've ever done on my own, and I'm super nervous about it. I just want to get Crystal's side of her information out. This is her truth.
Hi, sorry about that. I had to use the restroom.
Problem. Don't worry about it at all. So we're at April 2015, and you're being kicked out of a shelter again.
Yep, and I had a close friend that had lived, a few blocks down, and him and his wife said, hey, you can come in and live with us, blah, blah, blah. Me not knowing, really realizing either at the time that they were, deep in their own addiction.
Right.
They looked pretty normal to me. They didn't look like I had looked at one point, so me, naive, I'm like, oh my gosh, they're offering, let me go. And I had stayed in this place, I had overdosed quite a few times at this point, about 5 times. The last time I had overdosed, I almost didn't come back. It got to the point where they had, come to my chest with the heart machine and all that. They ate Narcan me 8 times. I had fell out actually in front of Ben and Debbie's subs in Haverhill. And the firefighter had come and checked on me. And that weekend, that Monday, I went into detox. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to die. And then after that, I got my own, I was doing methadone. I got out, I got referred to the methadone. I was doing the methadone, and I was living by myself for a few months. That really didn't work out. I was in and out of, trying to be good and not doing good, and in and out. And then finally I had to leave the place I was living at, and I went in with my aunt, and I was just full blown clean. The only thing I could do was smoke, and yeah, I stayed there for 6 months.
So in July 2015, she goes to visit her father for the second time. She's now 13 months old.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know that DCF was taking her to visit her father, and he was in jail still too, right?
Yep, and that was I believe the second time they had taken her.
Yeah,
Yep, he was in that Boston pre-release. So he didn't want Harmony to go see him in jail. But once he was released into some type of program, he was like super adamant to see her. And it was very, it was a red flag for me, because it was right after I had sent that we're over.
Right.
Letter. You know what I mean?
So, you sent the letter in April, and in July.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, then July, all of a sudden, he wanted to be daddy of the year.
Right. And then she doesn't see him again for a whole other year and some months. She doesn't.
You know, I really wish I still had those pictures. I've actually been trying to get them because my old DCF worker had gotten them, taken them, like, you know, just to take them to give them to me. And a close friend of mine that's a foster parent said, you know, I'll talk to her and see if you can meet with her and get those pictures. Because when I tell you, Harmony was not interested in this man, and she was in every single picture, she had her hands up and she was pushing him away.
Well, so she sees him in October of 2016 after not seeing him for a whole year and a couple of months. She's 2.5 years old now, or close to.
And guess who he brings along the first visit?
Kayla.
Step monster. Yes.
Yeah, Kayla.
Yes. She didn't know Daddy and she didn't know this lady. The only people she knew was Nan and Uncle Mike.
Right.
What, honey? What's the matter? What, honey? You thirsty? Okay, I got you, babe.
Aww. So we're going to go into the rest of the timeline and hear it from Crystal's point of view. Because a lot of people haven't gotten to hear that. They get little sound bites from the media. And I know she's told this story a lot, but I don't think everybody's really heard the story from her. Am I doing okay, guys?
Hey, just give me like a couple minutes. I'm going to lay him down.
Sure, no problem. Lay him down.
All right, thanks. 1 second.
So while she's putting him to sleep, there are some people that don't know the relevance of Tabitha Scott. She lived in the Guilford Street home. So in February 2019, when Adam Montgomery got custody of Harmony, Tabitha Scott was incarcerated at the Valley Street Jail. I don't know exactly what date she got out, but it was sometime closer to the summer, like the May-June time frame. And then we know in July, all hell broke loose. But there were a lot of things going on in the background that a lot of people don't know about. And Tabby's a big part of a lot of that. So it's believed that Tabby knows exactly what happened to Harmony. I don't know what I just did there. Misread, I'm going to let you come up and talk for a few minutes so we don't have a lot of blank space. But when Crystal comes back, we're going to have have you shut off your mic. So let's see. Well, that's fun because I don't even know how to answer your request. There it is. All right.
Give me 1 more second.
No problem.
Yeah, okay. Not going to lie. There you go. Hello. I'm back.
Okay. So we just finished with October 2016 when Harmony visited her father with Kayla.
Mm-hmm.
And we're on to March 2017. You get Harmony back.
Yeah. So I believe he only had very few visits while I had her back. I had gotten her back. I'll never forget it. It was St. Patrick's Day. I think it was actually 2 days before St. Patrick's Day, 2017. I was in Casa Esperanza. It was a residential reunification program. And I was there quite a few months. I was doing very well. I had Jameson. He was 3 months, I think, when she moved in, almost 3 months. And she was tickled pink. She was mother hen. She wanted to take over. She wanted to help me in any way she could. And she just loved being a big sister, you know. And there was quite a few months I didn't hear boo about visits, or he wasn't answering DCF. He didn't, because, you know, he was with Kayla. He had met Kayla. He was focused on Kayla. He didn't give a shit about Harmony, you know? And he never did. It's not like it's news, you know?
Yeah, he was starting his new life.
Yeah, he had this new, idea of how he was going to move on with his life, whatever. He had resentments towards me because I left him. I was all set. When I got sober, I realized, oh my gosh, I do not like this person.
Right.
You know, and he was abusive and verbally, mentally, emotionally, you know. So I was just like, yeah, no, in order to save my daughter, I have to leave this man. In order to stay sober, I have to leave this man, you know.
So he just pops up out of the blue and says, give me Harmony for the weekends?
Yeah, it was very strange. He was, harassing DCF workers. They're not getting back to him. Then he's getting a hold of me on Facebook, saying they don't have a say. You have custody of her, blah blah blah. And I'm telling this man, like, I have conditional custody of her.
Right.
Like, I have to follow the orders that they say until I get full legal custody. You know, and that's what I was working for. And he was like, you know, trying to convince me that it was my say. You know, I contacted DCF and I'm like, you know, what's the deal with this? Like, are you guys wanting him to see her or not wanting him to see her? And it was like, yeah, you know, but he has to go through us, blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, okay. So this is what they say to me. He calls me up and says, hey, I talked to so-and-so, our DCF worker at the time, and said they green-lighted for the visits as long as Nan was there, that was the plan. DCF had called me and said, yes, blah, blah, blah. As long as the grandmother was supervising the visits, he could have the visits at their home or whatever, you know?
Right.
So I said, okay, great. There's going to be someone to supervise it. Well, unbeknownst to me, there was 2 visits where Nan wasn't present. And nobody told me of this. And at the time, she was just starting her play therapy.
Okay.
And about her 3rd appointment, she had brought this dollhouse. She had all these cool little dolls, blah, blah, blah. So this was the dollhouse play. And, you know, she has a dollhouse in my bedroom. They're doing their time. You know, I'm downstairs with Jameson. You know, she updates me at the end of it. So I guess when she had updated me at the end of it, she had relayed to me that at these 2 visits, there was some type of craziness, abuse, where she was in fear of this man and Kayla. And I said, well, what part of the dollhouse was she, you know what I mean? Like, what in the dollhouse was she doing, you know? And this woman proceeded to tell me that, and I saw for myself, she was terrified of baths.
Okay.
To the point where I had to give her showers. She was terrified. So I'm like, you know, I said to her, well, yeah, she's very afraid of showers and, I mean, baths all of a sudden. She's like, yeah, that was one of the areas. When we was playing dolls, and she went straight to the bathroom. And I'm like, oh my God, man. I'm thinking the worst, you know. And she said that Adam and Kayla held her down and scrubbed her privates because they said that she was dirty.
So, and this was during the August and September 2017 unsupervised visits.
Yep.
Those 2 visits that they had without Nan.
Yep.
Okay.
And I got in trouble because Nan wasn't there. Not them. I got in trouble because Nan left.
Right. Yeah. So the way the report reads is you were both supported a claim of being unfit, partially because of those visits. But suddenly, we'll get into that later, but suddenly Adam becomes fit without doing anything.
Doing anything. And
Right.
mind you, how am I unfit when I am getting this girl, I'm getting my daughter weekly therapy.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's on record.
Right. So yeah, that's what I was reading in the report, and that's what kind of struck me about the report. Wait a second. I saw between August and September 2017 and January 2018, you had to take all these steps to prove that you were fit to get her back. But I don't see Adam doing anything in that time. We're talking, several months here. He's not doing anything in that time. And so January 2018, you get Harmony removed again.
Yeah.
This is partially because she was visiting without Nan, and partially because
there was so much pressure on me, Regina, and I felt like I couldn't. Not for nothing, I relapsed because there was so much pressure on me, and I couldn't even help her.
Right.
They wouldn't let me. They wouldn't listen to me. Everybody, Nan's friggin' talking out her ass, sticking up for this highly abusive man that she knows is a piece of shit.
Yeah,
so nobody stick up for me.
Yeah, Nan didn't turn out to be a really great person anyways.
Oh, no. She's pretty dipped on her own granddaughter, but yeah, we'll get into that.
So in January, here you are again. What's your support system? Who do you have supporting you?
At the time, I had this, this is really sad to say, but at the time, I had this woman that had latched on to Jameson. She was one of the program managers at Ruth Kelly Umi's house, which was the sober house that I was at for almost 2 years. She was my support at the time. I didn't know what to do. I was lost in Boston. I was staying at a shelter. I was just kind of lost. I was working really hard. I was trying to get them back, and then the only one I could get back was Jameson. They were dead set on not giving me Harmony.
Yeah.
Because basically, 3 strikes, you're out.
Right. But at this point, they're still not seriously recognizing that they're offering you services, but they're not the services you need. They're not the services that are going to benefit you and Harmony staying together. So, and that's kind of clearly laid out in the OCA report. They actually talk about it. They touch briefly on it, towards the end of the report, but in the beginning of the report, they do talk about how there were, lapses in services for the whole family. And I know that probably includes Adam, but also in that report, they note that Adam doesn't, he doesn't reach out. He doesn't show up. And
the thing that baffles me though, because the only thing besides substance use, which, I was working my butt off to overcome, the only thing that was wrong in my family was stability. I couldn't get a place. My mom, my dad was in freaking East Bumcrack with his new family, and my mom was dying in a nursing home. I just needed a place for me and my kids, and that was one thing that they never tried to help me get.
Right. Housing stability is something that is very stabilizing for
I've watched them give my people I've known my whole life straight Section 8 vouchers they can take anywhere.
Right.
So why was I different?
Well, I want to say that I hate to say this. I really do hate to say this. I want to say that most of it was probably because they're like, oh, well, you know what? She's just using drugs. She doesn't really give a shit. She's not doing what she's supposed to be doing. And, you know, not for nothing, for this whole time of Harmony's life, you've been hearing you're not a mother.
Yeah. You're not enough. You're not a mother. You're a junkie.
Yeah, you're not doing.
You aged out in foster. How could you be a mother?
Right.
You know, how?
Right. And along with all of that is, you know, the struggle of housing, the struggle of single parenthood, and the struggle with addiction. So a lot of people don't have empathy for that situation. And that's the part that's heartbreaking. And we're going to go into that a little bit too. So February 2019, you have your hearing for your son, Jameson, and also is the hearing for Harmony. And there's a lot to do about, in the report, it said that your lawyer contacted you and made record to the court that you were okay with Harmony going with Adam.
That was such a lie. I was in the adoption hearing screaming at my lawyer.
Yeah, I actually wanted to ask you about that because those are confidential records. Those are confidential conversations between you and your attorney.
Yeah.
And the fact that your attorney was able to just stand up and say, Crystal says, go ahead with the hearing. I just kind of find it odd that the judge said, oh, okay, because he was kind of leaning towards continuing the hearing.
Yeah, well, here's some information that I don't just say on the news because, I mean, no one has really asked me, but Dan O'Brien was my lawyer for 4 years. You know, he was a grandfather. He fought tooth and nail. He's like, yo, you know, you're a good mother. You have substance abuse. You didn't have a chance, you know, with your family, blah, 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 you know. And he finds out, you know, Jameson's being adopted. I'm at a pre-adoption hearing, and he's upset at this point. He's given up on me. So he goes and says that he should have her, you know, but nobody, not her lawyer said no, not one person mentioned his record,
right?
You know, and that was the whole thing. Was I said no. Her lawyer never even asked Harmony what she wanted. She was old enough to tell them.
Right, and he represents to the court. He actually advocates to the court that Harmony go with Adam.
Yes, and he knew damn well there was no way over my dead body would I ever say, "Oh yeah, give it to Adam." No, there's no way. There's no way. He used to choke me until I would pass out when I was pregnant with her. I was fucking praying when this man got arrested for that shooting. And the saddest part is the person that he shot in the face came up to me when I was visiting family in a grocery store and hugged me and said, "I'm so sorry. I'm not a rat, but if I had known that he was a monster like that, I would have ratted on him in a heartbeat." And he was crying. I said, "This man shot you in the face and you're apologizing to me?"
Right.
You know, that's how deep this goes.
So takes Harmony home, and this is the late part of February 2019. It's like the last week of February. He takes Harmony to New Hampshire, to the quiet little dead end street that you know, and he sounds like he's got the perfect family. He's got
he's been sober for 5 years.
And
he's badgering me for being on methanol, but him and his girl was on methanol the whole 5 years.
Right. So and he's painted this picture of, you know, this quiet little suburban life in New Hampshire.
He's perfect. I'm a piece of shit.
Right.
You know, and I live in Lowell. And
yeah, they bought it hook, line, and sinker, and so they give him sole legal custody, and it means that you have to beg for visitation.
Oh yeah, and this man, let me tell you, this man never let me live it down that he had sole custody. I heard sole custody about 75 billion fucking times coming out of his mouth.
Right.
And then come to find out, I actually did have rights.
Right.
And I never tried to check because I believed what he was saying.
Right.
You know, it's not like anybody contacted me after that court date and said, "Hey, you have this, and this rights." I'm solely on my knees begging this man to see my daughter.
Right.
And
so you get to see her for March, and you get to see her for half of April.
Mm-hmm.
Then you're cut off.
Not even half of April. I wish it was half of April. It was, pretty close to Easter, and then, a few days after Easter, and that was it.
Right. Hang on 1 second, Crystal. Let me deal with it. We've got a speaker request. I can't see your whole name, but Crystal's not going to be taking questions because this is not going to be that type of interview. Hopefully, at some point in the future, Crystal will join us and she'll take listener questions. And I would hope that we can build her to a stronger point. But right now, it's just not the time for her yet.
Yeah, I feel like when maybe when we have more answers.
Yeah, it's better. It's better the way it is right now. So you're still talking to the Montgomerys though in March, in May, and June, right?
They had actually. I haven't heard from Nan, Kevin, or any of them. I hadn't heard from them until July of 2019.
Yep, that's the next stop.
Yep, that was when I first got contact from Kevin, screaming and yelling about this abuse, and that was he had it for 6 months, close to that, so the abuse had been going on for
take a breather.
Right off the rip.
You need to take a breather. You sound like you're starting to get emotional, and I don't want to do anything that jeopardizes your sobriety. We talked about this earlier, and it's very important to me that we don't take you down an emotional path that you might not recover from.
No, I'm okay. I've had this pretty much the same discussion with my recovery coach this week, so it's okay. I just, I can't not cry.
Right. No, I know this is hard, but I'm an empath, and when you cry, what happens? I feel your pain, and I start to cry with you, and I don't.
Yeah, if you haven't noticed,
we'll just have a ball fest. We'll just have a crying fest. That's it. So Kevin makes this abuse allegation, and he claims he makes it to DCYF in New Hampshire as well. But report in New Hampshire doesn't say who makes the report.
It doesn't say Kevin Montgomery.
No.
He reported these allegations for a good, I would say, 3 months anonymous, and then once Demetrius said, "Listen, you reporting these anonymous doesn't do shit. We can't," you know what I mean? And he said, "Oh, okay, well," and that's in the DCYF discovery, which is like 500 pages, mind you. It says, he said, "Well, F it. If that's the case, then put my name down. If it's gonna do something, put my name down." This was like 4 months later after he was reporting that whole time.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. So,
yeah.
Well, the public got this 7-page report from New Hampshire and a 100-page report from Massachusetts. You actually got all the DCF documents and DCYF documents, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
I got all the documents from New Hampshire and Mass and the police reports.
Yeah, so they're your records. And we're not going to go into your records. What's available to the public is available to the public. What they don't know, we'll go into what they don't know and how they've responded to what they don't know in just a few minutes. So October 2019 comes around. Do you know at this point that Harmony is missing? Who do you have contact with? Who is talking to you? Is anybody from the family talking to you?
All I know at this point, I had been talking to Kevin, and I had been talking to his ex-wife, baby mama, whatever she is. I don't know if they got married or not, but
Christine.
I've been talking to Christine. I had been talking to them at this point, and all I know is something ain't right.
Right.
Something isn't right. I'm reaching out to Adam's aunt. I'm reaching out to this person, that person. They're telling me, "Listen, we ain't seen her in 9 to 11 months."
Okay.
You know what I mean? And I'm like, "Oh fuck."
And this goes on through the holidays.
And I'm doing I'm paying for White Page. I'm doing this. I'm looking up Kayla's numbers. I'm looking up Adam's numbers. I'm looking all their numbers. I'm trying to get addresses. I'm doing my own investigation at this point because DCF's not listening to me, and they wouldn't let me report her as missing because they said I didn't have custody.
Yeah, no.
Yes. Yeah. And this is what they didn't tell the public.
Right. It's not in the reports. It's not.
Nope.
In fact, I said this from the very beginning, and I know I said it to you way back.
They said I called once to the police, which is not true.
Yeah, I know I said this to you way back in February when we first met, that when that report came out, all it was telling you to shut up. That report gave us no information. None. Yep. All it did was say, Crystal, shut up. That's all that report said. So now January 2020 comes around, and the authorities ask, where's Harmony, for the first time.
Yeah.
They asked this of Adam and Kayla. Do you have any idea that the authorities don't know where Harmony is at this point?
No, because I had written to, I didn't heard shit. So I had written to the mayor, and I made these threats. I said, listen, I've done what I can do, and if you guys don't do something, I'm going to the media and letting them know that none of you have done anything.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, that Monday, boom, 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 boom.
Well, we're talking about January 2020. January 2020.
Oh, 2020. Yeah, no.
So you have no idea that that's the first time that the authorities have asked Adam, where's Harmony?
Oh yeah, yep.
And they've cleared the Montgomery family of an abuse charge. They found that it wasn't supported, so they found them clear of this abuse charge of Harmony. They come in contact with the family again in January of 2020. The person that they were accused of abusing is gone. This person is gone, not in the household at all, and that's the first time they ask, where's Harmony? And a whole 12 months goes by.
Yeah.
Before they officially say, where's Harmony?
Yeah, that's true. Because not for nothing, but they would have been able to find me. In January 2020, I had gone into shelter. I had just found out I was pregnant with Josiah. I was, very early on. You're allowed to go into shelter at like 4 months along. 4 or 5 months, and I went in, and that was when, nobody knew anything, and I'm still calling the only numbers I have, and it's just nothing. January 2020, and I'm sitting in a shelter.
Yeah. So from July 2019 to November 2019, you had contact with the Montgomery family, but you did not have contact with Adam or Kayla.
Nope. And I had family members texting them, messaging them on Facebook. I had false Facebooks I made trying to message them, asking about her. And every time it was block, block, block. Not even an answer. Nothing. Just block, block, block.
Right.
Which was like a huge red flag, because why would, if she was okay, why would you just say she's okay, block?
Right.
Because she wasn't okay.
So now December comes around, the police finally announce, hey, this little girl's missing. Nobody's seen her in 2 years. And social media explodes. But they don't explode on Adam and Kayla.
Nope, just me.
They explode on you.
Yeah.
And how much did that threaten your sobriety?
Not much, because I know this is the first time in my life where I'm strong in my sobriety. This is the first time where I have coping skills, where I know in my heart that if I pick up a drug, it's not going to bring her back. It's not going to help me find her. It's going to ruin my life just like it has every other time.
Yes, not a very good best friend, was it?
It didn't threaten my sobriety at all, because I know if I'm sober and I'm present, I can do more for Harmony than I could do if I had a needle in my arm.
There you go. And that's it. That's the point.
Yes.
So since then, have you looked at other missing person groups?
Every day.
And how do they treat the family?
they're supportive, they're loving, they're trying to do anything they can to help. Especially like Gabby Petito was one that I really had followed because I've been in domestic violence situation with Adam myself where I tried to run away and it got really ugly, So I'm lucky to be alive. But he had told me, once when I was pregnant, he was choking me. He said, "If you ever try to take her away from me, I'll make her and I'll make you disappear."
So, in your heart of hearts, what do you think happened to Harmony?
Now,
yeah, at this,
I think he killed her.
you.
I think either Kayla or him killed her. And Adam is jail smart and he's street smart. So I believe if he didn't kill her himself, Kayla did out of spite, out of anger, out of hatred, because she's hated me ever since the beginning. She believes Adam still has feelings for me. There was like a whole screaming match one day when I went to visit my daughter because of some comments Adam had made. And I feel like if he didn't, she did, and he helped her get rid of her. In the beginning, I thought there was hope. I thought, he could have sold her for some drugs because he would do anything for drugs. But now.
And are you pretty much settled in that thought that that's probably what happened?
Yeah, I was told by police.
Yeah. I know we had that conversation the night before the search.
Yeah, they came to my house that day and they said, listen, there's not really a chance that she's alive.
Yeah.
So I've been, trying to deal with that the best way I can, in therapy, and I have my little room with her little things in it, and I talk to her, and I've had my spiritual moments, so
yeah. I
just want to find out answers because I know that she won't lay to rest until I know what happened to her.
Right. So you have an advocate now.
Yeah. It's been wishy-washy with her,
Yeah.
They haven't told me much since the search. They've only said that multiple items from the evidence were sent off to 2 different labs because it has been so long.
Right.
And that is all I've heard.
And it may take a while to get any of that back. How about conversations with the Attorney General? Have you had any?
I have never met that person. I have never had a conversation with that man.
Okay. Has your advocate had a conversation with him?
Oh, yeah. She talks to him all the time, but she doesn't exactly tell me everything she talks to him about,
Right. No.
Which is, like, very strange, and it really sucks. It's like, Jameson's parents, they seem to know a little bit more than me, which really makes me uneasy because
that must
I don't get it.
That must be frustrating because they do not have they don't share a chapter with Harmony at all.
No. And the fact that because Blair is a well-known reporter, I feel like they might have their hand in someone's pocket, or they just have a really good friend that's like, listen, we don't want you to hurt by hearing it on the news, or whatever the case may be. But like, what about me and Jameson and Josiah? Like,
right.
I get it. They have the information, and I have text messages where they're like, "We just don't want you to know," and it's like, that's not your it's not your say. It's not your say.
It's not your position. How do you feel about how they're putting Jameson out there like that?
Oh, I'm beside myself. I feel like they're exploiting him. I've had conversations with them. I'm just gaslit, and they know what's best for him, and I don't, and it's just a lot of stress.
Continually,
I've been pressured to, go move on with Harmony's celebration of life, and at this point, I want proof. I am not moving on with anything until I have proof that my daughter is deceased.
Right.
I don't care what other people want. I don't care. I have to answer to my sons and my family, not anyone else. and I have to answer to myself at the end of the day.
Right. Exactly. Crystal, I thank you so much for joining us today. I really do appreciate it. I hope everybody else here appreciates the fact that you were willing to share your story with us. I just want you to know, and I know we've spoke about this quite a few times. There's times where I feel like, you know what, Crystal might be struggling, and I'll send you that morning text.
Mm-hmm.
I just want you to know I don't want to do anything that's going to jeopardize your sobriety. But if you ever want to come and talk,
Mm-hmm.
or you ever want to share pieces of your story more in depth, or you want to talk to more people, I will develop a sympathetic crowd for you so that you can have an avenue to vent.
Okay, that sounds great. Thank you.
I hope everybody enjoyed tonight's spaces. I hope it was informative. Way it's supposed to work out.
Yeah, me too. I know there's a reason for everything. I just don't know what that reason is. But I just ask everybody to, pray for Harmony, that we get some answers and that she's able to, rest in peace if that's the case.
Okay. Well, I'm going to be sending you those documents.
Okay, thank you.
And maybe those will cheer you up a little bit tonight. Give you some. I'm going to talk to you again real soon.
Okay.
All right.
I'll
Bye.
see you soon. Thanks, Regina.
You're welcome. Bye.